So I'm gonna go do a market recap for this week. Ended up taking no trades today. Pretty choppy price action to say the least. So we'll start off with news today. We had retail sales and core retail sales, which has been nothing compared to what we've had, this week so far. So we'll move into the hourly time frame and start this off. So we see actually we'll go on the 5 to show the candle for news. Obviously, we see news today. This was a news candle. Did pretty much nothing for ES and NASDAQ. So really was just a bigger opening candle really for New York session. But starting off on the hourly time frame, as we can see, we were kind of just fluctuating for most of the day. We did end up not taking these Asia session highs. And actually, if we zoom out even farther, we were literally right on top of these highs as well. So these are some daily highs that we have over here actually that I thought we were going to take, but ended up not. But this would have been a really nice sweep of this and moving down. But today ended up closing as just a big ass doji candle. So that would actually have been really nice. I wanted to see that sweep. We actually had a decent setup in the works right here. We did have this high time frame bearish order block too. So that would have been really nice for price to sweep in there and take it out and move down. But it ended up not being the case. Same thing with NASDAQ. We had these, or actually NASDAQ ended up ripping through these highs and ended up not really doing anything. NASDAQ was not as close to these daily highs. Or no, NASDAQ did rip through those daily highs. So overall, pretty interesting just how it was set up today between NASDAQ and ES. So NASDAQ did take these highs out. So once I saw that NASDAQ took these highs out, I figured there was going to be a pretty drastic move down, and we did, but it was a couple of times. So the first time we came through, we took out, I'll just go on the 5 minute for this actually. So the first time we came through, we took out Asia session, moved down pretty quick. We had a retracement. We took out London session and then ended up moving down. But this wasn't until almost 11 o'clock. So I'm obviously not on the charts. You could have probably caught this move. This was actually a pretty big move down too. So you just had to be careful not to get faked out by this right here. But could have entered. Had this break of structure. Yeah, I didn't get a break of structure to the downside really there. And there was no inverse Fairley gap. So wouldn't have been the best entry. But I figured with how many times that we ended up we weren't really getting that swift move up that I like to see where we have this pretty strong move up and then down. We see fairly choppy throughout the rest of the day. And I figured we were going to end up being mildly bearish. Today, I thought once I saw this, we were going to take out Asia session lows, which we had, or New York session low, or London session lows, sorry, which we had right here at the time, but we ended up not taking those out. So it was overall, like you can see on the hourly too, pretty choppy. 5 minute is, more or less pretty choppy. There really wasn't one direction price wanted to move. Like London session was pretty nice. London session had a really hard fake out too, so we actually swept out Asia session lows. We had this initial really strong move up, and if you're on the smaller time frame, actually, you can probably see that as well. Probably would have thought you hit a home run here on this one, but yeah, that would have been brutal. But anyways, didn't really have anything this week. This week was really bad just with news. We had a lot of news this week, so that would explain why this ended up closing more or less as a doji candle versus the other days. So yeah, we see that. NASDAQ was just in a completely different spot relative to ES. Yeah, NASDAQ had these highs that I'm looking at way over here. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see what next week brings us. Next week's going to be drastically less news. This week we had CPI, PPI. We had Powell speaking on Monday, Tuesday. So just very, very, very high impact news every single day versus having like what we had today, which was just retail sales and core retail sales. So, as I figured, price was not going to be the best today. I kind of went into today not even wanting to trade. We did, like I said, got this pretty nice move up around just past the macro. So I had hopes like, hey, we could take out this liquidity and then get a nice move down. Like again, like I said, we had this high time frame bearish order block in that direction that I wanted to see. And we were initially right here. So I was like, hey, we can get through this. We can see that initial reaction out of it like we did. And then get a retracement back up into it, take this liquidity and move down. But that just never happened. So that's it for the week. I ended up being down $200 because I accidentally entered into a short yesterday without setting a stop loss or take profit. And I got stopped out in about 2 minutes. So I ended up being down $200 on the eval. I'm up like $1,100 on it still. So going to be looking forward to next week for trading. But that's pretty much it for today. Today was very, very choppy price action, like I said. No clear direction. It's easy to see that on the 5-minute. Like we see London session was very bearish pretty much the entire way through. And then we go into New York. As expected, we were going to get that reversal back up. But again, we just never got anything.